and welcome to the first QUTV News Update of the Fall 2014 semester. I'm Sarah Vahlkamp.
And I'm Colleen McCormick. Coming up on this week's update, big changes to our campus facilities over the summer, and the football team sets high goals for the season.
But first, skipping class and sleeping in may seem like an enticing idea, but have you thought about the consequences that could entail? As you ease back into your school schedule, there are some serious outcomes you should consider.
Skipping class may seem quite appealing to many students. Students decide they don't want to go to class that day and can justify any means for not attending. However, what students do not realize is that by not attending even just one class, negative consequences can arise. Dean of the School of Business, Dr. Bruce Spitzer, talks about some of the problems that can result from skipping class.
Consequences? Well, they can be huge or they can be minuscule. The problem is you don't know. You don't know if the day you decide to skip class is the day the instructor is going to throw a pop quiz, or the day the instructor provides that little tidbit of information that helps you understand the rest of the class for the entire semester. You also don't know if the day you decide to skip class is just another day the instructor is going to read a PowerPoint slide to you. See, the problem is you just don't know.
One of the worst habits a student can fall into is losing the motivation to attend class. Tuition is paid each year to ensure quality education, and students should take advantage of that opportunity. Acting Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Ann Behrens, talks about what QU will personally do to monitor multiple absences.
So if you missed 2 classes in a row, for instance, we're going to know that, and we're going to be following up with phone calls and emails, and may even ask you to come in and talk about what the situation is. If there's some kind of problem, we want to address that early on so that we can get the problem resolved. And if it's just bad habits on the part of the student and not being motivated to come, then we need to address that as well, because we want every student who comes to QU to be successful. And in order to be successful in academic endeavors, you have to participate in the class.
While skipping class can result in negative consequences, professors are aware that instances arise in which not attending would be the better idea. Illness is a good example of when not attending would benefit everyone involved to prevent the virus from spreading. However, students should email the professor to let them know of the situation and also to become informed of the activities that occurred during the class. Overall, attending class religiously not only takes advantage of the education being offered, but also helps students get into a routine that will benefit them in their academic endeavors.
They settled into school mode, and new students are getting used to their environment. Being active in campus life is important, but don't worry if you haven't found the right club or organization just yet. School leaders say the first thing you should do is get to know your roommate. We all come from different backgrounds and cultures, so getting to know who you live with will open your eyes to new experiences that you may not have seen before. QUTV sat down with University Director of Multiculturalism and Leadership Programs for some additional tips.
I always say, if you see students walking around campus and they have the title of an organization on their shirt, don't be afraid to walk up and ask. Hey, what is this? What is that? It looks cool to join. And the same way as those student organizations or those leaders that are part of student organizations, if you are walking around with a shirt on and you notice someone doesn't have a shirt like that, walk up to that student and introduce yourself.
If students have any questions about how to get involved, stop by the Student Affairs office below the cafeteria and talk with Calvin.
Some departments grow by adding classes or faculty. QU's Aviation department grows by adding an airplane. Recently, on the 25th of August, the Aviation department added another plane to their hangar. Last month, Professor Andy Dow and 2 students flew to Rock Hill, South Carolina to pick up their Cessna aircraft. The best part, students had a hand in flying the new plane back to Quincy's airport. It took them roughly 3 hours to get to South Carolina and 6 hours to fly back in the smaller plane. This now makes a 6-plane fleet that aviation majors have access to while perfecting their pilot skills. One of the pilots is a familiar face, aviation graduate and former QTV staff member John Dvorak.
Our advisor, Andy Dow, flew me and Nick Scarfino out there, and we both flew it back. We had to stop in each did a 3-hour leg, stopped in Kentucky for fuel. It's actually a really cool flight. We had to climb over the Appalachian Mountains, got to see a lot of cool things bringing this back.
QU has seen many changes to both of its campuses this past year. North Campus had renovations completed on its main entrance and science labs, as well as a new cafe. QU's main campus has a new and improved Student Success Center that is gaining heaps of attention. QUTV's Sarah Vahlkamp talked to a few QU students about their views on the new renovations.
I really like the Student Success Center so far. They did a pretty good job cleaning it up down there. Good offices. I haven't been to the tutor yet, but looks like a good opportunity.
I really appreciate what QU is trying to do by increasing the learning facilities and the tutoring that we have here on campus, and I really like the way it's designed and set up. But I believe that there are also other organizations within our campus community that need money and funding that haven't been renovated or changed in 15 or so years. So I really would have liked to see the money go to somewhere else.
Well, I think the North Campus looks pretty good. Looks a lot better than what it did. It was really outdated. And then the Student Success Center, from what I've heard, is pretty cool. But other than that, it looks all the same.
QU's renovation.
University's annual faculty recital will be held Friday, September 5th in the Connie Neiman Center of Music. This year's faculty recital will feature all of QU's music faculty and Quincy University's new chair of Fine Arts and Communication, Carl Warma. Warma will be performing an improvisational piece on harmonica with guitar instructor Jesse James Mazzacoli. The music faculty says supporting music is as important as any other organization on campus. Students will also have an opportunity to see concert pianist and artist in residence Leonora Supana-Garrick, percussion instructor and director of bands Bill Mackold, and voice instructor and director of choirs Alan Means.
Well, the way I look at it is no different than a basketball game, a football game, soccer, or any other kind of lecture. You want to see your professors performing, and you want to see them maybe coaching or something like that. So this is a lot like that, seeing your music professors performing in a formal recital.
It may be the fall semester, but temperatures have been in the mid-summer range.
That's right, but the big question is, will it continue? QUTV's Stephen Philippi has the answer in weather.
Hello Quincy University students, I'm Stephen Philippi with the first QUTV weather forecast. On Friday, September 5th, we start off with 83 degrees, and I tell you what, we're going to see a little bit of rain this weekend most likely. It seems that as we get into our 7-day forecast over here, on Friday we seem to have a 50% chance of rain with 83 degrees, and then a 60% chance of rain on Saturday with 75 degrees. So it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a gloomy weekend, but then we kick off our Sunday with 75 degrees, and it's just partly cloudy skies, so we're okay with that. And then when we get to Monday and Tuesday, we've got sunny skies all the way, and then we hit up to Wednesday with a 30% chance of rain with 85 degrees. And then we hit our Thursday with 73 degrees with a slight chance of rain there. You might want to bring an umbrella. But for the most part, it looks like we've got kind of an up and down week. But, you know, I'd bring a pair of shorts wherever you're at and an umbrella because it seems like it's kind of up and down this week. For QUTV, I'm Stephen Philippi. I'm going to toss it back to you guys.
Thanks for the update, Stephen. The phrase poor college student is one that every student has uttered at one point or another when describing themselves. Whether it is while paying your tuition or ordering textbooks, college life can be expensive. But did you know that there are many businesses in the Quincy area that give out discounts to QU students? Students can take advantage of a discounted meal at many restaurants, including Culver's, Papa John's, and Tiramisu. Or when you are having car problems, go to one of several shops to get back on the road faster and cheaper, including Delta Tire and Spring Street Automotive. Discounts often include both parts and service. If your parents are coming in town, tell them to book their room at Microtel Inn and Suites for 15% off their room, or book a hotel for them at any of these other locations to get great service and a great discount. There are also other locations that offer discounts for QU students, including Designer Edge Day Spa, Salon, MC Sports, and Shuking's Menswear. If you know of any other businesses in town that offer discounts to QU students, let us know. Post it to our Facebook site, and we will pass the information along to Student Affairs. You can also find these discounts on the Student Life section of the QU website. Remember that these discounts only work at the Quincy locations.
Fall sports are officially underway, and the new semester brings with it the promise of a new season. What can we expect from the Lady Hawks and the Hawks this semester? Sports Director Ethan Cowgill has some answers. Ethan?
Well, thank you, Sarah. The college gridiron season is beginning across the nation, and the Hawks are eager to kick off their season. I recently visited the team's practice to find out what we can expect from the Hawks this year.
Hawks football will be fielding new faces this year. Head coach Tom Padgett is hoping the younger players will energize the program.
Look at our two deep offense and defense. We have 31 out of 44 players out of our two deep that are freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So there's a big-time youth movement, and then you have your key, we have about 12, 14, 15 seniors that we're going to play a big part in this year's outcome.
The Hawks are placing their confidence in the veterans to help speed up the learning process. And in order to ensure that that youth movement succeeds, Coach Padgett is looking towards senior linebacker Dan Camp to provide leadership and guidance to the new players.
Someone to grasp onto, someone to show them around, someone that they can talk to outside of a coach. And so I try to open myself up to be that guy for them, teach them the ropes, teach them plays, watch film with them. And the thing is, they're the foundation of this program.
The Hawks look to pick up their first win of the season on the road against Lindenwood Belleville. For QUTV Sports, I'm Ethan Cowgill.
Of course, football isn't the only sport getting their season started. Women's volleyball is fast approaching, and the motto for Coach Crank's squad this year is simple: win more. After a 9-21 record last year, the Lady Hawks volleyball team is focused on improving. They want to show the Great Lakes Valley Conference they are serious contenders. Under second-year head coach Bob Crank, the Lady Hawks are looking to tighten up their defense en route to a more successful season. Ultimately, Coach Crank will let the win column decide how much progress the Lady Hawks have made.
That we could use as a way to evaluate this season versus last season. But this season, I think that we should win more, pure and simple. I mean, that's going to be what our barometer is, a little bit more than it has been in the past. We want to win more, and I think that's something we can use as a great evaluation tool for us.
And that wraps it up for this week. I'll have more scores and updates next week. Thanks.
Thanks, Ethan. Finally, if you're on campus and watching us online, you may not have heard the news. QUTV programming is now available on the university's campus cable lineup. You can still find us online anytime and now on Channel 97 if you live on campus. Channel 97 currently features classic films as well as all of our original student programming. Professor Travis Yates is even getting in on the action with a weekly show called Real Education, a program that discusses the lineup of films shown on Channel 97. Stay tuned for replays of campus events, original podcasts, and of course, our weekly campus news update.
That's it for this week's QUTV News Update. Make sure to tune in online, on Facebook, or on Channel 97 on campus for more news anytime. For the entire QUTV team, I'm Colleen McCormick.
And I'm Sarah Vahlkamp. Until next time, Hawks, keep soaring high.